Hi and welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make relatively inexpensive carpet stencils and also how to use them. So I've been asked by a subscriber to the channel about carpet stencils. They are a novelty, they don't detract from, obviously you still have to produce a really professional finish on the vehicle when you're valeting, but they are a nice personal touch and a lot of my customers like them. You can buy these carpet stencils online, obviously they're about £20 each, but I want to show you how to make them, relatively easy to do, for around £2 each or maybe even less than that. So let's get into it. I want to show you the kit that you're going to need, and then obviously we'll go through the process, and at the end of the video I'll even show you how to use them as well. Right, so for my carpet stencils I actually use old cutting boards from the kitchen. So when these cutting boards have come to the end of their life, instead of throwing them away, I get given them, and then obviously I use them for carpet stencils. If you don't have old cutting boards, you've got to go and buy some new ones. These are actually relatively cheap. I think they're about £5 for a pack of 5 different colours from places like B&M Bargains in the UK. So even if you got to buy them, they're still relatively cheap. So we need obviously something like an old cutting board, and these are about 2mm thick plastic. We need the pattern obviously that we're going to use, so this is the next one I'm going to be cutting out. Land Rover, obviously you can get these images off the internet. One thing you need to work out once you've printed the image off is where you're going to have the additional pieces to actually hold everything in place. So for this one I'm going for a ring with gaps in between. This kind of detail you can't keep, so you're gonna have to do without that, but it's not going to be a highly defined image anyway. So the centre of the A, the D, the O and the R's, they're going to go, but it'll still look nice on the carpet. So you've got your design. You can use a Stanley blade or Stanley knife to cut these out. I've just got one of these cheap hobby craft kits. Again, if you don't have that, doesn't matter, just a normal Stanley knife will do. And you also need some form of spray adhesive or a Pritt stick, something like that, because what you have to do, you have to make sure that the entire surface of the paper is covered with adhesive, so that when it's placed onto the cutting board it all has to glue down, because once you start cutting this out, if you've only sort of sellotaped around the edge, the paper will lift, you'll lose where you're up to, and it'll be completely useless. So as we cut out, we're going to lose some of this paper, but the rest of the paper will be stuck down, so we know where to trace it out. Right, so I'm just going to talk through the process. I'm not actually going to do this one yet. I've got some alloy wheels to refurb and spray, so I've got to get that job done first for a customer, but I just want to talk through the process. So we need something underneath the cutting board, like an old scrap piece of wood, because we will eventually go through the cutting board with the blade. So first thing, we turn this over, use our craft spray or multi-purpose adhesive spray, even carpet spray will do. This one's from Wilko, I think it's about £2, £3, something like that. And this is just a standard spray adhesive, so I want to spray the entire back of the paper, leave that to go just slightly tacky, place it onto the cutting board and then firm that down, then we're ready to cut. As I said, we just want to work out where we're going to put the links in, so these pieces won't be cut out, and this allows this free section to stay in place. So we take our blade, and it's just a simple case of following the pattern around. Now with something like this 2mm plastic, you'll have to score this 3 or 4 times before you actually get through the plastic. Just take your time, just try and be as accurate as possible, but you don't have to be entirely accurate, because using this as a carpet stencil, and carpets are very fibrous anyway, so they're not going to be sort of highly defined. And then once you cut it out, the paper will come off quite easy, and you end up with that kind of stencil. And you can see where I've worked out the joining pieces, so this stays nice and free. Obviously they will come out in the carpet when you come to brush the carpet, but that's just one of those things. Right, so the process for actually putting the logo into the mat. So this is from a car that was done a couple of days ago, so it's got dirty since then, but the logo has stayed in. So I just want to show you with this. So you take your car mat, you clean it, thoroughly clean it, as I said at the start of the video. You then want to, if you've cleaned it with a carpet cleaner and the mat is slightly damp, that's better. It's always better if the mat is slightly damp to put a more defined logo in. If it's not, if you just vacuumed the mat, then take some plain water, just give the mat a light spray. Take a detailing brush and get all of the fibres running in the same way. If you want the mat to appear light coloured or a lighter shade as people get in the car, then brush all of the fibres away from you on the mat. If you want it to be dark and the rest of the mat to be light, then brush in the opposite direction. So what I normally do is brush away to get a light shade finish on the mat. You then place the logo centrally, and just where the logo is, we then brush in the opposite direction to get a different contrast into the mat itself. That will produce the logo, and I would normally leave it there. This is one of my twins' cars, and he likes to add the stripes in over the top, so logo goes on first, and then to do the stripes we just take the same detailing brush and go in the same direction that we've done with the logo. So what I would do here is one stripe there, one stripe on this side, one stripe on that side, and then two in the center and one there, and that produces the stripes as well. So even a few days old, the logo is still quite prominent in the mat. Again, a bit of a gimmick, but a lot of my customers really like it. It's a personal touch and something different to taking the vehicle to a local scratch and shine. Right, so finally on the video, I just wanted to explain why it was such a rushed video. Would have liked to have gone through the whole process, but I think it's quite explanatory, self-explanatory how to make these carpet stencils. And the reason it's so rushed is because I'm refurbing these racing alloys. I'm going to be painting them in a dark anthracite colour using the JT's system. Absolutely fantastic system this for alloy wheels. Not sure whether this is the type of thing I should be covering on the channel. It's obviously way beyond a detailing channel. I don't know if it's going to sort of dilute the message a little bit on the channel, but if you think it would be interesting to see things like this, alloy wheel, caliper refurbs, then let me know in the comments below this video. I'll consider it.